Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I guess we are on, and the crux of this live stream is war on the streets of the United Kingdom. I don't think there's any other way we can talk about it now. It really did turn ugly last night with almost 500 arrests at the pro-Palestine, I don't know what they're talking about now, guys, but 500 arrests and not a peep from the government. Also, wild machete gangs are roaming the streets of the United Kingdom. Illegal Kurdish migrants in taxpayer-funded hotels are jailed for terrifying machete attack on shop owners. As judge tells them, it is not what we are about in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been saying this for such a long time. It turns out these machete gangs are everywhere. Turns out there's a lot of people in the black economy, in the dark market. Turns out there are a lot of people in the United Kingdom who do not have British values. Turns out, you know, all these laws and legislations we have, like, a ban on ninja swords, a ban on ninjas. Turns out it wasn't ninjas that were the problem. A gang of illegal migrants who stormed a high street store armed with machetes and brutally attacked a shop owner have been jailed. Hannah Hassan, 22, Yazef Shaban, 24, Omar Kadiq, and Darwen Mantik. Fantastic, strong British names, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic, strong British names. They all arrived to Britain on small boats. I'm not making this up, ladies and gentlemen. This is an article from this morning from the Daily Mail. The four were part of a larger mob of 12 who rallied the troops after a dispute in a nightclub days earlier. So can you see what's happening now, guys? Look, I went to... when you've got all these different factions of Islam, all these different factions of, we're Kurdish, we're Sunni, we're Shia, all these guys fight. They don't like each other. They fight. They are constantly fighting, constantly, brutally fighting. Now, we've imported these to the United Kingdom. Not only have we imported them, but we are actually paying for these as well, guys, okay? So we've imported these people. We're paying for them. We're paying for their legal fees. We're paying their hotels, their food, their accommodation. And, like, it's just chaos, guys, right now. War is on the streets. Just because Vladimir Putin or, some world leader hasn't come out and said, United Kingdom, we are at war on British streets right now. Of course, that's never going to happen. But look at the dynamics of our high streets. Like, guys, listen, this is a serious question right now. Serious question. When was the last time you walked down your high street, up your high street, your local town, like the local town, wherever you go to, like for us, it's Barnsley. When was the last time you went to that local town and felt safe? Well, you know what I'm talking about, when you're walking on the streets and there's always people, we don't have to talk about. You can always see these people and they're always looking shady. They're always looking up to no good. And we're paying for that. We are paying to be afraid. That's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe war's on the streets. Nearly 500 arrested last night at the pro-Palestine protest that went ahead despite pleas from the government. Oh, please don't do that protest. Turns out they don't listen. And look, guys, I want to be quite fair here as well. I gave a switcheroo on this. I thought, right, Sean, put yourself in the position of these guys that are going out doing this, the pro-Palestinian marches. And, you have to do this. You have to do this every now and then to try and get yourself that alternate perspective. So in my opinion, should the protest have been banned? No. Should those people themselves have cancelled the protest? No, I don't think they should. If you put yourself in their shoes, remember, life, if you look at other people's perspectives, sometimes you see the different dynamics. No, I don't think they should have cancelled that protest. But I think they should have been respectful. I don't think they should have cancelled it. I don't think the police should have cancelled it. I just think they could have really been respectful and, and just had a totally different dynamic rather than waking up this morning with a headline, nearly 500 arrested. Remember, guys, when there was a far right protest in London, the government came together and they said it's disgusting, and people were afraid and people were terrified. There were 8 arrests. 8. I don't know. Are the government? Sorry, I forgot to talk. Are the government going to come out and condemn this? 2 days after the attack on the synagogue in Manchester, central London on Saturday, to call for the government to reverse the ban on the prescribed group. Organisers of the protest, Defend Our Juries, said 1,000 people attended the event. Guys, I hate to say it. I was right. Now, you guys remember the other day when I was on the live stream? I think it was yesterday, actually. In fact, it was yesterday. You know, on yesterday's live stream, can you guys remember yesterday's live stream? Yesterday morning, I left the guys, put yes if you can remember me saying this. Yesterday's live stream, I said towards the end of it, I said, right, how many people do we think are going to get arrested at this pro-Palestine march in London? And I said, I'm going for 50%. That's what I said. I said, I'm going for 50%. I said, I'm going for 50% of the people that turn up are going to get arrested. So riddle me this, riddle me that, Batman. If 1,000 people turn up and nearly 500 get arrested, it's not giving me the actual number on here. Oh, 492. Would you give me that? Would you give me that, guys? Would you give me that as a rough estimate? When I said 52%, sorry, when I said 50% would get arrested and 49.2% got arrested, would you give me that? Would you give me that? Would you say, yeah, you were right, Sean? It's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable what's happening, guys. You know, and we are paying for this. Right, let me jump over and get some of the comments, guys. Good morning, everyone. Good Sunday morning. How's everyone's head? Were people drinking carbonated drinks last night? I hope you guys were. Right. Right, good morning, everyone. Diablo's joined. Hello, Diablo. Mr. Super Realm, talk with Trice. Janet has joined. Martin Beams, JT, Christio Junior. Googly is saying, look what I text you. Right, I'll look at that in a second. Jody Lee saying morning, everyone. Jules is saying morning, everyone. Lisu saying morning on everyone. Lulsworth is saying morning, Sean. Lisu is saying, I thought prisons were full. Where are they putting all these people that are arrested? So the prisons and the arrests are different. Prisoners are some prisoners would be somebody that has been convicted in a court and they have to be and they get sent to jail. People who are arrested are detained. I guess you would say they are being detained, awaiting a following investigation or something, and then they may or may not decide to send those people to prison. Lisu is saying they're just going to let them go and they'll do it all again. Yeah, I believe so as well. Angela Dawson saying morning. Coral Reef and he's saying morning, mate. I'm off to the gym. Good effort. I should look like the Terminator by now. 2 videos. One is about a mosque attack and one is about the new police powers. Right, I will have a look at that in a second, guys. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're streaming. We're triple streaming. Can you guys do me a real big favor if you're on now, guys? Can you like, comment, subscribe, hit those buttons? If you're watching on, if you guys are watching on YouTube, TikTok, the buttons are up there. If you guys are watching on YouTube, then the buttons are down there. And if you guys are watching on X, then the buttons are like up the top somewhere. Really helps me out when you do that, guys. And also, if you could share my stuff as well, please. Right, I'm just going to jump over to YouTube. Donna Hogan here. I think this is what we're talking about. Donna Hogan is saying a mosque in East Sussex has been damaged in a suspected arson attack, which police are investigating as a hate crime. They never investigate the churches that go up in flames, do they? They never investigate the churches that go up in flames. Let me just Google this and let me get this up. Mosque East Sussex. Yeah, okay, so right, I've got it here, guys. Mosque fire being treated as arson and hate crime. The BBC is reporting. So this is an article from today, the 5th of October, 1 hour ago. A mosque in East Sussex has been damaged in a suspected arson attack, which police are investigating as a hate crime. Fire crews were called to the mosque at Phillies Avenue, Peace Haven, I think, at about 10 to 10 last night. So that means this wasn't kids, that means this was adults. While no one was injured, the incident, the front entrance of the building and a vehicle parked outside were damaged. Sussex police said in a statement, "We understand the concerns this has caused within the community." Guys, what about all the churches that are burning down? Is nobody bothered about those? Is it happening that often, the churches burning down, that nobody seems to care? And the impact will be felt by the Muslim community. Yeah, guys, my heart bleeds for the Muslim community. They've had a door or a car set on fire, I think. As a result, Detective Superintendent Kerry Bohanna said, "There is already an increased presence at the scene, and there are also additional patrols taking place to provide reassurance at other places of worship across the country." Are they protecting churches, schools? Are they doing that? Why is nobody protecting churches and schools? I don't know, guys. Serious question. I don't know the answer. A volunteer at the mosque, who will not be named for legal reasons, told the BBC. All right, okay, we'll go with it. That two people tried to enter through the front door, only to find it locked. They then poured a liquid at the entrance near the car park outside, which was set alight, the volunteer said. It could have been murder. The man said, adding that the two people inside the mosque managed to escape. Yeah, it is disgusting, guys. It's disgusting when people burn places of worship down. It really is. It really is. There should be something sacred. You should have places that are just. It shouldn't matter what your. It shouldn't matter what your political beliefs are. There should, if you want a place of worship, fine. Go and worship your God. Go 5 times a day. Do whatever. Take your shoes off. Wash your hands and feet. Go roll like that. All I'm saying is there's been a lot of churches set on fire recently, and they never seem to make they never seem to make the media like this. But who knows? Who knows? Right, sorry guys. Let me get these questions on TikTok. Martin Quinn is saying fire should not be a hate crime. It should be arson, not a slap on the wrist. All those churches. I don't know how they can say it's hate crime without actually arresting the people, unless they were chanting something, I don't know how they can say that this was a hate crime. I mean, more than likely, it probably was, like I could say more than likely it's probably a hate crime that all the churches are going up. But I don't have evidence of that. And, that's a big thing. Unless you have evidence of something, you can't say it. Again, when I was in the military, if somebody asked you for a description of something, you said what you could remember. You didn't make things up and say, "Oh, I felt like it was a red Fiesta." What do you mean you felt? Well, I thought it was a red Fiesta. You thought or you knew? Because they're two different things. Well, I thought it was a red Fiesta. Why did you think it was a red Fiesta? Well, did you see what? Well, it was red. Did it look like a Fiesta? Well, I don't know. I just think it might have been. Okay, so you saw a red car. You didn't see a red Fiesta. You saw a red car. Yes. Okay. Don't lie. Don't assume. Don't make things up. For all we know, this could be anything, Sharon Owen is saying, good morning. Coral Reefing is saying churches get vandalized all the time. Then the police say, sorry, unfortunately, we can't find them. Right, okay, I've got to look. Right, Google is telling me to look at these messages. Give me a second, guys. Right. My phone's just froze. No, it's not. See, we have this awkward silence now. Now I have to start my phone because it's not the fastest phone. I have to start my phone, and it takes me ages to start it. And then we have to have this awkward silence when I'm waiting. Wait, right there, wait, right. I've got him, Right. Do we really want me to watch these videos? So there's 2 videos here. I'll watch them. Just watching a video, guys. Just watching a video. So the video is talking about what I just basically said. I'm just watching these videos, guys. Right, so that first video, well, the second video that was sent was a video about the mosque that's just been set on fire that we just spoke about. And then there's a video on... And then there's another video saying that the police have got new powers. Right, guys, does anybody else want me to watch any more videos? Guys, listen, if you send me a video, if that's what... Guys, if we send me a video, we can... I can just watch videos all day. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. If anybody wants to send me a video, I'll just watch it. Right, so I've watched those videos now, guys. I hope everybody's happy I've watched those videos. Right, Martin Quinn is saying churches and schools belong to Christians. It's mostly Muslim councils instinct. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, the crux of this live stream is as such that war on the streets of the United Kingdom, I believe it's been declared unofficially by some back chain. If you guys go and watch my previous videos, some of the previous videos I've done, on YouTube, I did a top 10 video, maybe like last year or something, or maybe, I think last year. In that video, I said, and I was talking about the top 10 civilian targets. One of those top 10 civilian targets that bad guys could strike would be just an uptick in crime, just an increase in crime, an increase in crime waves, people going out on the streets causing carnage, chaos, and mayhem. We used to call it fish and chips in the army, fighting in someone's house, causing havoc on people's streets. Fish and chips, guys, remember it. That's what we're seeing right now, guys. Machete gangs roaming the streets of the United Kingdom. Not only are these machete gangs that are roaming the streets of the United Kingdom, these are machete gangs roaming the streets of the United Kingdom that we are paying for. We are paying for these people, guys, and they are in hotels at taxpayer-funded hotels. Now, listen, guys, when we've got all this on the streets of the United Kingdom, let's not forget for 1 second as a backdrop or maybe even an articulation point, we have got the backdrop of this as a global we're heading towards a global conflict on an industrial scale, you know. And nobody can forget that. So again, every time I say this, I have to remember about Nostradamus when he was saying that, you know, by 2025, Britain would be fighting an internal enemy and an external enemy. It does seem like we're there right now, guys. Right. Ham and Eggs, who's changed his profile picture, is saying, wearing chainmail might be a thing in the future. As funny as it seems, the police in Germany actually wear chainmail now. I'm not kidding, guys. Let me Google this. Police in Germany wearing chainmail. I promise you. German police. I think I spelled chainmail wrong. Yep. German police elements routinely wear chainmail. All you have to do is Google it, guys. There's lots of images of German police wearing chainmail. It's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal, yeah. So German police wear chainmail quite often. Who thought it, guys? Who would have thought in 2025, you know, chainmail's making a comeback? Google is saying, in response to the government's new laws and legislations that are brought in, new powers are going to be given for people who are holding a protest at the same place over and over again. Yes, this will have effect to people who are protesting outside hotels. So now what the case will be, and again, you know, we all call for things and we all call for something to happen. What this is going to do, so if you want to go and have a protest outside a hotel because X, Y, and Z has happened, if you do it more than once, we'll say, right, go and protest out about this hotel somewhere else. All these laws, guys, they all get brought down and they all get draconianly used to stop to clamp down on everyone, basically. That's where I do think it's going, yes. Sarah May Gen X is saying good morning. I'm saying good morning back to you, Sarah. Oh, hang on. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking at the comments on... Sorry, guys. I'm just looking at the comments on... Donna Hogan on YouTube is saying, Tories pledged to remove 750,000 migrants under new border controls plan. This is the type... They're the type of numbers that people need, guys. But look, you know... I don't think it's ever going to happen. How is that going to happen? What I think will happen before the next election, so like I've given the deadline of January 2021. So January 2021, what I think will happen is Keir Starmer will stop the boats. He'll be hailed as a hero. Starmer gets tough. You know, he'll get hailed as a hero. The boats will stop, and he will start mass deportations. And they'll be like, you know, maybe getting rid of 1,000 people a day or something. And this will be all over the media, all over the media. But you've got to understand the numbers that are already here, guys. You know, like just walk up and down your local high street. Do you feel safe? I know we don't. You know, if you've got small kids, if you've got small, especially if you've got small girls and you're walking up and down high streets, and there are men who use men, you know, I'm just going to say men. I'm going to say men. Some of them don't speak English as their first language, and they're looking at your kids and smiling. It's terrifying, guys. It really is. It's terrifying. And then you've got to think, okay, you know, at some point the girls are going to want to go out on their own. You're gonna let them walk there without you by their side? Absolutely not. So then you're living in fear, and that's just the reality. You know, that's just the reality of modern Britain. Right, guys. Let me give you guys some more about this Machete gang. I think what people have got to understand is as well, the Middle East is carnage. Well, it's not carnage. Anybody who says that they understand them, remember that guy? Remember that guy who gave the speech about. Let me see if I can find it. I think he was from Qatar. Hang on, guys. Let me see if I can find this speech. So there's this guy, and he's doing this speech about. Let me find it because he articulates it better than me. No, I can't find it. Oh, there it is. The internet's been real slow today, guys. Yeah, it's just the internet's just circling at the moment, guys. I think the internet must have gone out last night. Oh, hang on, here we are. So I'm going to play this speech now, guys. I think this is from the Qatari ambassador. No, it's this United Arab Emirates Foreign Minister, Abdullah bin Al Nahyan. So I'm just going to play this, guys, and let's see if this resonates.
And let me say this in English so you can understand what I'm saying.
I have translation.
No, I know you have translation, but I just want to make sure you get it right.
See, when I was in the Middle East, I used to work for the British Embassy. I worked for the British ambassador, and you would meet these very intelligent, Arabs, very intelligent, very articulate, very good people, really good people. And they would warn you and they would tell you about different dynamics and different structures. And the problem we have here, do you think David Lammy is intelligent enough to understand these complexities? And it comes back to what I was saying yesterday. Yesterday I was talking about how David Lammy, he went up onto that speech in Manchester, and they're booing him. They're oh, we don't want you here, David. Go back to Palestine. We don't want you here. You're not welcome. And he got up and he did his speech while people were heckling him. That's bad, guys. That's real bad. Like really, really bad. He should have not gone up there. First of all, he shouldn't have antagonized them. That's antagonizing people. Sean, we don't want you to give your speech. Get away. We don't want you. You're not welcome here. Okay, fair enough. Sean, we don't want you here. Get away and do your speech. No, you will listen to my speech. I'm David Lammy. You will listen to my speech whether you want to or not, because I'm David Lammy and I am a black man. He doesn't have the capacity to read the room. So do you think he understands the different complexities and different factions of the Middle East, of the war in Middle East? Now we've imported the war in Middle East to the United Kingdom. Not only have we imported them to the United Kingdom, we've imported them here and we're paying for them. So let me continue this video, guys.
There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremists and terrorists coming out of Europe because of the lack of decision-making.
Lack of decision-making, guys. That is what and people are too scared to make decisions because they're too scared to lose votes. So, what's her name? Angela Rayner, she literally had to do exactly what her voters told her, or, because she would be scared of losing that block vote. You guys know what I'm talking about with the block vote. And it's a very powerful thing, that block vote, for a politician, because those communities will come together and they will vote in a block. And people are scared to make any decisions because they may lose that block vote. And also lack of decisions. This happened, the grooming gang scandal. I don't even know if I can call it a scandal. The grooming gangs, I can't think of a better word for it. There will be a better word. The grooming gangs scandal. When that grooming gang scandal broke, the overwhelming direction was people were afraid to talk out about it in case they were labeled as racist. And I know myself, guys, I grew up in Rotherham. I know people, I know them firsthand. I've asked them to come on the show and talk about it, but they won't. I know people firsthand who reported things happening by men across the road at a certain house in Rotherham. Men, they reported this to the police. The police came out, took a statement. They said, right, we've got no evidence of what you're saying. We're warning you with racism. And they gave them a verbal warning for racism. What the fuck? So just contextualize that, ladies and gentlemen, right? Contextualize that. I know the crux of this video, guys, is going to be the war on the streets of the United Kingdom. Things have turned ugly now, and we literally have machete gangs roaming. Not ninja gangs. Remember, all the ninja gangs have been banned. Contextualize that for a moment, guys. Just go with this, because this was real. This happened. You're there. You're living in a house, and across the road, you know what's happening. Men are bringing girls in all hours of the day. More men are coming, and you guys can kind of imagine what's happening in that house. You phone the police. The police ask you if you've got any evidence. You say, well, what do you want? Then the police say, yeah, there's no evidence of this is happening, and we're giving you a verbal warning for racism. Just imagine that happened. Imagine that happened to you, right? Imagine that happened. And then 12 months later, that house gets raided and they all get arrested for, the thing. No police officers being investigated. Does that sound like a cover-up to you? I don't know. It could be a cover-up. It might just be a one-off, guys. That could just be a one-off. But what I'm getting at here, guys, is, the lack of decision-making. And that lack of decision-making, I'm sorry, guys, we need more men in charge. We need more men in charge that have got balls. We're lacking balls. People are lacking balls. Right, let me continue with this video, guys.
Trying to be politically correct, or assuming that they know the Middle East and they know Islam and they know the others far better than we do.
How many times do I say this, guys? How many times do I say this? If people say they understand the Middle East, they do not understand the Middle East. Nobody understands the Middle East. Even people who live out there, they don't understand the Middle East themselves. It's crazy. So this was a warning. I think this was like 2015 or something. And this guy, he's warning. He's the United Arab Emirates foreign minister. And he's warning about these things homegrown in Europe because we don't understand these complexities. We don't understand these different dynamics between different groups. And again, today, out in the headlines, Kurdish machete gangs terrify high street. Not only are these guys, terrifying the high streets with machetes, but they all came on small boats. Hannah Hassan, Yosef Shaban, Omar Kudia, and Dewan Mantik. Fine, strong British names, those guys. No doubt they're British citizens or something. They all came on small boats. Now they've all been sentenced to prison. How much more of this is going on, guys? Right, let me get these comments, guys. Right, guys, I'm going to get the TikTok comments. I'm going to get the chat, and then I will have to close this down at 1 hour because I've got to go and do some stuff. Googly is saying at least five beamed up transcended into a beam of light in Ukraine after Russian missile and drone attack. Poland jet scrambled. I saw something about these jets scrambled this morning. I think it was just a precaution. There was no incursion made. Martin Quinn is saying, anybody comes walking into your house, you should have some chili powder. Wax works wonders, I think he's saying. No, Martin Quinn, you should not have chili powder. If somebody walks into your house, you should take the knee, show solidarity, and hand over your house deeds and leave. That's what you should do. That's woke. Martin Quinn's also saying David Lammy doesn't understand about human anatomy. He doesn't understand about anything. Googly says, Putin says, Tomahawk supply to Ukraine would destroy US relationships. Yeah, it would destroy. Guys, it's never going to happen. I can't see it happening, guys. I really can't see them getting Tomahawks. Do you know what? I mean, I did say, I said that about the F-16s as well. I can't see them getting Tomahawks. And even if they do, in what numbers? You see, you've got to understand this situation. The Americans obviously want things blowing up in Russia. So they may get them, actually. You know what? They may get them, but it would be in a very small number. And that number would be used for very specific targets. So just say, for example, that you want a radar research facility destroyed. You want a certain antenna outside a nuclear power station destroying, and a couple of other various things. You know, you would give Ukraine these Tomahawk missiles and say, right, Zelensky, here's your Tommies. Make sure those targets are destroyed, and you might get some new ones. You know, for the Ukraine, you know what? For the Ukrainians, it would be. You know what? Actually, I'm changing my mind now in real time. For the Ukrainians, they would get a tick in the box. They would get some kudos because they've got Tomahawk missiles, but they don't really have Tomahawk missiles. They have Tomahawk missiles, and the Americans are telling them where to use them. So they wouldn't really be able to use them themselves. They would have them in such small numbers, it wouldn't really make any strategic difference. Googly is saying, when talk breaks down, world peace breaks down. Martin Quinn is saying there was a large grooming gang from 1992 in Huddersfield caught. Then 7 years ago, they got 3 years. Yeah, so those guys will be well out. They'll be out now. All these people will be out. I didn't realize, you know, guys, I'm not going to go down this right now. I don't want to talk about the grooming gangs right now. It's difficult to talk about, you know, and it's very upsetting. So I want to stick to I mean, we've got plenty to talk about, guys. Okay, I want to stick to the war on the streets right now. You know, in the United Kingdom, war really is here on the streets. All you need to do is look at your high street, look at your local towns, cities. You know, your local wherever you live, really. I mean, we're starting to see this where we live, and this is like we live in a small village. We literally have in our village a Tesco's, a bakery, and a post office. Not a big Tesco's, one of those like little Tesco's that everything's ridiculously expensive. Mike Quinn saying the police don't listen; they accuse you instead. Google Huddersfield, you'll understand what I mean. Yeah, guys, listen, guys. I grew up in Rotherham. I know exactly what's happening. Look at all the seeds that have been planted in the United Kingdom, just waiting to flourish. The matter received a box of Thomas Hawk's axes. I don't know what that means. All right, okay, yeah. So so Googly here is saying talking about the Tomahawk missiles. If I can pin that point, yeah. He's saying Putin says that the US will be directly involved if they get them. He knows. Yeah, of course. You know, the Russians are not stupid. You know, the Russians are not stupid. They know exactly what's happening. You know, they know that these, you know, like these, so you know, I'm not telling you guys anything that's not open source right now. So you know these long range missiles that Storm Shadow, Scalp, and Gemini. I'm not 100% certain about Gemini. Not Gemini. Taurus. Sorry, Taurus. Yeah, Taurus. these long-range, these air-launched missiles. Now, when you give somebody a missile, you can't just give them a missile. It's a whole system behind that. So, you know, those missiles were built to be programmed by British programmers using British crypto. Now, if any of you guys have ever been in the military, like having like crypto is a massive thing. You know, like just to be crypto cleared, it's a massive thing. You know, not everybody in the military is crypto cleared. It means basically you can go and get the encryption. So the encryption is what the British military use. It's like, I don't even know what it is. It's like a secret do you know what, guys? I don't even know what it is. It's like a little machine, and you plug it into your radios, and you press a button, and it makes sure, and it makes your radios, it encrypts your radios basically. So you have to be crypto cleared. Now, this is just me speculating now. I know that, well, this is not me speculating, but I will in a minute. So I know that those systems, those Storm Shadow missiles, have to be programmed on the ground. I know that. I know that with 100% certainty. The pilot, and it makes sense that the pilot doesn't know where those missiles are going. So if you think about it, think about your airplane flying around, you know. That pilot doesn't need to know where that missile is going. All that pilot needs to know is, right, mate, fly up to this location at this altitude, pointing in this direction, and press that button. Got it? Yep, got it. That pilot doesn't need to know where that missile is going. Because if that pilot gets shot down, if that aircraft gets shot down and that pilot gets captured, they can interrogate him and find out what the target was. If he doesn't know, guess what? Doesn't matter how long they interrogate him, he ain't going to tell them anything. That's what we talk about when people in the military talk about need to know, and it is an important thing, having need to know. Going back to these missile systems. So that person, whoever's programming those coordinates or those grids or whatever into those missile systems, they need to understand, and they need to be have the correct encryption. And I don't think that, you know, I don't think that the British would have given the Ukrainians their encryption, because if you give them the encryption to one thing, you've got the encryption to everything. And I would speculate the same with the Tomahawks. You know, you can't just click on Google Maps and say strike there. And then Google is saying Ukraine wouldn't know how to use them. I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to comment on that. Timsky is saying, what have I missed? Oh, Timsky. Right, listen. So first of all, guys, all right, we're triple streaming. All these videos will be uploaded to YouTube. I don't know if they get uploaded to X or not. I don't even check. But these videos do all get uploaded to YouTube, guys. So if you've missed anything, if you're joining halfway through, you can go back and watch this on YouTube. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the war that is on the streets of the United Kingdom. It's undeniable now. There is war on the streets. We literally have machete gangs now cruising. Middle Eastern machete gangs cruising, cruising towns and cities, maybe coming to a shop near you. This is from an article that was published today in the Daily Mail, I believe it was. Daily Mail? Yeah, Daily Mail. Kurdish illegal migrants in taxpayer-funded hotel are jailed for machete attack on shop owner. As judge tells them, it is not what we're about in this country. I mean, why don't they? Honestly, guys, these people, judges, they're so far detached from reality. It's unbelievable. It kind of reminds me of, like, you know, well, obviously I wasn't there. It reminds me of the American Civil War. And in my head, I have this vision of, like, the American Civil War where you've got, like, the British forces forming square and rank and all in perfect order. And those pesky Americans hiding in the woods using guerrilla tactics. And it reminds me of that. I always think of, like, you would have, like, some officer there who is so, like, narrow-minded. He's not willing to say, right, guys, yeah, you all need to get on your belt buckles and start weapon crawling. You know, and the blokes are dropping, form line, Form square. You know, it's just crazy, absolutely crazy. Martin Quinn saying 2 fighter jets shot over the moor at 4:20 a.m. this morning towards Manchester. There is a big RAF exercise going on at the moment. I think it ends today, actually. I think it ends today. Hang on. RAF exercise UK. I think it ends today or tomorrow. I think it's soaring. I think this is it, guys. I think it's called Exercise Soaring Falcon. Right, I can't find it. I know there is an RAF exercise going on at the moment. I think today is the last day. Yeah, it's the 5th. Yeah. I think today's the last day. I'm pretty sure it's today, or it might. You know, it might have. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was today the last day. But yeah, I know there is. You know, there's an RAF exercise at the moment in the UK. If you guys look on NOTAM Planner or something, you can see there's a load of the airspace that's restricted. The jets were flying very low. Yeah, guys, there's nothing cooler than fast jets flying low. It's pretty impressive. Google is saying North Korea's Kim vows additional military measures ahead of major parade. And Mike Quinn saying nothing came up on flight tracker. Yeah, it won't do. Oh, do you know what? They might be operational then. If nothing's coming up on the flight tracker, they might be operational. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen, as we're looking at this with the backdrop right now, which it is, it's hard to say that we don't have a backdrop of global conflict of industrial scale. We have got literal war on the streets now in the United Kingdom. Like, if you've seen the footage and if you guys have seen I don't know if you have or not, but if you guys have seen the footage and the images basically coming out of London yesterday, it was unbelievable. I started this live stream and I was talking, and I said at the beginning of this live stream, you know, I was thinking, like, should this have been banned? Should somebody have banned this? I was like, well, no, I don't think things should have banned, because as Google points out earlier, laws that come in that can ban one thing, that means they can ban everything. So while people are here saying, oh, they should be banned, I don't think the police should have banned them. No. And then I started to think, right, okay, if there was something I really believed in, should we not go? Should it be cancelled? And I was like, well, no, that shouldn't be cancelled either, you know. But what I think they should have done is just shown a little bit of respect. Just a little bit of respect. Like, you know, like when the Black Lives Matter protest was on. When was that? I can't remember. Whenever the Black Lives Matter protesting was, like, nothing to me. I mean, when people were looting shops for TVs and trainers, I was just like, wow. Though I really feel for those guys' cause. You know, those guys are so respectful. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad what happened in America. So bad what happened to Georgie Floyd. You know, so bad what happened to him. Go get yourself some new trainers. You know, it's just very distasteful. And I don't know why people don't call this out. You know, can you remember Keir Starmer and can you remember that, guys? Can you remember that picture of Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner going down on one knee in like some office? God, can you remember that? Jesus. And then we had the police officers as well going down on one knee. Can you remember that as well? God, that was embarrassing. Oh, God, that was embarrassing. Can you remember that? Police officers going down on one. So there's a protest thing. People are protesting, right? Guys, let me know if you've seen these images. There was like all these people protesting for Black Lives Matter, which, whatever, you can protest, that's fine. And then you have the police in front of them down on one knee. And I was like, wow, you guys really, like, you know, honestly, it's so annoying. Hang on, guys. Right, so somebody on the chat earlier said Kemi Badenoch said they're going to deport 750,000 migrants. I don't know, guys. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they will get in and nothing. That's what I think. You know, I don't see how this can happen, or why hasn't it happened. So Kemi Badenoch, when pressed about where the migrants will go under her plans, said it's an irrelevant question. I don't think it is an irrelevant question, because, like, where are you going to take them to? I mean, what I would do, I would just send them to West Falklands. I honestly, that's what I would do. I would give out, when they came over on the boats, I would give them one tent between two. I'd give them 2 sleeping bags. I'd say, right, West Falkland Islands, here you come. They'd be on a ship to the West Falkland Islands while we process their asylum claims. That's where I would take them. And we can do that. You know, we don't have to break any laws to do that. That is British territory. You know, we can send them down there. Yeah, Labour are saying, the Tories are saying they're going to deport 750,000 people. I can't see that, guys. I can't see that. Not in a million years I can see that. You know, it's just ridiculous. You know, it is ridiculous what we're seeing on the streets of the United Kingdom. Sorry, guys, I'm just reading these articles. All right, okay, right, guys, this is worth talking about, actually. Right. So here's the different migration plans. So here's how each party plans to address migration in the UK. I'm going to read through this, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll jump over to YouTube. So Labour, legal migrants will have to learn English to a high standard, bullshit, have a clean criminal record and volunteer in their community. God, this is just not going to work. This is just ridiculous. Refugees will have to wait longer than the current 5 years before they can apply to settle permanently in the UK. Listen to that, guys, right? So a refugee can come here. We don't give them right to settle, but yet we'll still provide them with food, accommodation, and money. No, you can't settle here, but here's your money. That's where you're living. And then after 5 years, they can. Makes no sense. It was also confirmed, so Labour has also confirmed that the route enabling refugees to automatically bring close relatives to the UK will permanently be scrapped and suspended in September. The Conservative Party. The party would task officials with removing 750,000 illegal migrants from the UK within 5 years. Never going to happen. The Tories have pledged to ban people who enter the UK without permission from ever claiming asylum. That would be a good thing. It would create a removals force to remove people within hours or a few days. I think they'd get lots of people volunteering for that removals force. Reform UK plans to abolish the right of migrants to qualify for permanent settlement in the UK after 5 years. It also said it plans to bar anyone other than British citizens from accessing welfare. So the Tory plan does seem to be the most potent at the moment. Liberal Democrats. The party would give asylum seekers permission to work while they wait for their claims to be processed. So, that doesn't even make sense. Leader Ed Davey has advocated providing help to refugees abroad to remove their need to the UK. Yeah, we tried doing that in the UK. You guys didn't like it. We tried doing it in Pakistan. We tried doing it in India. We tried doing it in Hong Kong. There's only 22 countries in the world we didn't try to do that in. And those countries kind of don't like us for it. So that doesn't work. And the Green Party, this is their statement. We will say it loud. Migrants and refugees are welcome here. So the Green Party, they're just going to have an open doors policy. They're going to let everyone in. Come, come, come. I mean, maybe the Green Party are going to get some traction. Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listen, I am going to close this down now. I'm going to jump over to YouTube. I will continue this live stream on YouTube. Let me just click this button, make sure I can close it down. As always, ladies and gentlemen, if you can do me a real big favor, like, comment, subscribe, hit those bell notifications, all those things that help this channel grow, because ultimately it's only your fine fingers that do that. I will be back on later today at 8. I am going to do some videos on the situation that's developing in I'm going to do some videos on the situation that's developing in Europe. I'm going to do some videos on what's happening in the UK with regards to these protests, you know, these new laws that have been passed. I also want to talk about what, like how the percentage-wise, the percentage of liberal protesters that get arrested. It's phenomenal, guys. It really is phenomenal. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing that, you know, nobody is mentioning this. Nobody's standing up there in, nobody's standing up there in Parliament and saying, hang on a minute, Keir. Hang on a minute, Keir. You're pointing the finger at 8 arrests. And again, you know, those guys who got arrested, you guys were absolute douchebags. If any of you are listening, like, can you imagine if that protest had have gone with 0 arrests? 0. What would Keir Starmer have been able to say? How would he have been able to, like? And this is what you find yourself in when you're in a battle with someone. When you're in this sort of ideological battle, you have to raise your standards like above and beyond the people you're in battle with, the people you're in war with. So why has nobody stood up in Parliament and said, look, statistically, these pro-Palestinian protests that happen, around 50% of these protesters get arrested. That's the reality. 49.2% of the last protest. 49, say that to yourselves, guys. 49.2% of the last protest in London, those people got arrested. Now, they're not my numbers, guys. They're official numbers from, hang on, let me get this up. My internet's so slow today. They are official numbers from The Independent, which was updated recently. 442 arrests made. No. It wasn't 442, was it? It was more. It was 900 and something. Where is it? Yeah, sorry, guys. Wrong article. So organisers of this protest, Defend Our Juries, said 1,000 people attended. That's what they're saying, guys. They're official numbers, not me. That's what the organisers are saying. All right, that's not me. That's what the organisers are saying. 1,000 people attended. You know, and again, to oppose genocide and the Palestinian action ban. Of those 1,000, 492 were arrested, and by Raven maths, that's 49.2%. So why is nobody standing up in Parliament and saying, look, we are literally addressing the wrong problem here. You know, this problem from the far right, that is a symptom. And the real problem is the real problems that we have on the streets in the United Kingdom: mass immigration, cost of living crisis, taxes, You know, and all this is a backdrop of we're heading towards global conflict on an industrial scale. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, I am going to close this down now. I am going to jump over to YouTube. I will be on YouTube for a little bit longer. I'm the Real Raven One on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven One on X, and I am the Real Raven One on TikTok. And if I'm not going to see you later over on YouTube, then I will see you guys back at 8, and we'll see what craziness has happened in the last 10 hours. I'll see you guys later. And we are off. Right, we're off. Right, let me caffeinate myself, guys. Oh, you know what? I have to sit here. I have to sit here looking at my coffee, watching it get cold. Lisa Jane is saying they were carrying protesters out, 8 police to 1 person. Yeah, those odds don't like make sense, do they? You know, those numbers don't make sense. And this is one of the things I don't know if you guys were. I did a live stream where there was an incident in Sheffield. A guy said he had a weapon in a block of flats in Sheffield, and I went there, and the whole street. Like Sheffield City Centre had been closed down, basically. You can go find it. Hang on, guys, hang on. I bet they're lost gay boys in the army. Right, J200. Right, I'm not going to block anyone, you know. Just like if you're going to call me out or you don't agree with something I'm saying, like articulate it in like an intelligent comment. Otherwise, you just look silly, which is fine. If you want to make yourself look silly, I'll let you continue to look silly. But if you want to call me out or you've got a different opinion of me, then just, you know, articulate it in a manner that I can understand, because I don't understand what I bet they're lost gay boys in the army. I don't know what that means, mate. I don't know what that means. I think it's something negative, but I don't know. But what Lisa Jade is saying here about carrying out, what I was saying is the amount of resources that the British police take up for a very minor incident, like, you know, like this in Sheffield. I mean, I was walking around and I think I saw there was 2 tactical units, so 2 firearms units. There was a bomb disposal truck. There was like 3 fire engines, and just like the whole area was saturated. Now, you can imagine if there's more than 1 incident in Sheffield, and then a real incident, you can see how manpower gets like sucked up massively here. And one of the problems here is because the British police have never really had to. The British police have never actually had to deal with things at scale. And Elise is also saying, did you see that Angela Rayner's boyfriend has been using tax-paid taxis for his personal use? She's like the kid that keeps on giving. She's great, isn't she, Angie? I'm not educated, me. I'm a working class girl, and I'll sign any piece of paper for a new pair of trousers as long as I get some free stuff. Oh, it's right good. Yeah, she's gone, sadly, though. She's gone. Sadly, she's gone. Templar Matt is saying they don't have the brain cells to put a sentence together, Sean. They are both lost souls. I think we're talking about Angela Rayner and her boyfriend there. I don't know who her boyfriend is. You know, I don't mean to pick on David Lammy, but you know, I'm not going to pick on David Lammy. What you find is, and said previous example of David Lammy, you know, a lot of the politicians are clearly put in positions because they can't, well, in my opinion anyway, they're put in those positions because they can't think. When you had someone like Boris Johnson say what you want about Boris Johnson. He's vastly intelligent, like vastly intelligent. I don't look, guys. It sent chills down my spine. Let me see if I can find it. Do you know what? I'll probably do it later on. I'll do it later on. It sent chills down my spine when I actually put the timings together. In 2019, just before COVID, Boris Johnson went up to the UN and he gave a speech. And in his typical Boris fashion, he was warning about artificial intelligence. He was warning about the intrusion on privacy. He was literally warning about everything that's happening right now. Go back and check it out, guys. I'll find it, and later on the live stream, I'll play the video. He was warning about AI toasters who know your every thought, and he was doing it in his own Boris fashion. But then he was talking about injecting nanobots with nanobot technology swarming through our veins. He was warning about this in 2019. I think it was October 2019. He was at the it was October 2019. It might be September 2019. Now, I didn't realize the date that he did that speech. And I was on a video. I think it was a live stream, and I found that video and we played it together. And guys, you know, when you watch that video back, and you're like, wow, Boris was literally warning people about this, you know. And say what you want about Boris, like, he did do that. He did give that speech. He did warn people about what was coming. 100%. You can't take that away from him. He did it. It's on the UN. It's like all over YouTube. He got heckled for it, and people were laughing at him. Oh, Boris is worried about Terminator toasters. He's right, stupid Boris. Boris is saying there's going to be nanobots swimming in your blood. He's right, stupid, isn't he? That bot. Really? How's that working out for you now? What, you've had 6 vaccinations? Yeah? You still get up the stairs okay? And then Boris was ousted, and I don't know why Boris was ousted. Seems strange that Boris was ousted. You know, I mean, he seemed to me like a great guy. Anyway, but yeah, it does seem like that the politicians, anybody with a brain cell, is just being like, they just get rid of them. David Rocky saying, Sean, by the looks of it on X, Israel and Iran could kick off again soon. Yeah, guys, I mean, it's an inevitability. It's like, you know, like people say it is written. It is literally written. The United States have made it law that they will not accept a nuclear-capable Iran. That's what it literally says, that the US law will not accept a nuclear-capable Iran. Iran have said they are going to continue then uranium enrichment program. One of them's going to give. Literally, you can't have both. You can't have, and again, I'm not casting judgment. I'm saying you can't have Iran saying we're going to continue to build our nuclear enrichment program, and the Americans saying we are not going to let you continue your uranium enrichment program. At some point, something's going to happen. Either these guys are going to get to continue, or these guys are, one of them's something's going to go. Oh, hang on a minute, Claire. Claire, what's happening here? Sean, give Lisa a spanner. Right, what's happening here, guys? Right, Jeremiah. Right, Jeremiah, I'm going to have to put you in a timeout, mate. Right, okay, right, guys, look, listen, I don't like banning people. I really don't. I don't like banning people, but when people just stop spamming, guys. Stop spamming and being weird. It's weird. It's weird. Some of the stuff that's getting said is just weird. It's awkward. I'm looking at it, when I'm looking at it, I'm going through the chats. I've just put him on hold. So Jeremiah, I've asked you quite a few times, all right? Jeremiah doesn't say things that are rude. He doesn't say things that are rude or offensive. It's just a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. In fact, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Right. Let me find one of his comments and I'll block him. Right. I can't block him because he's not commenting. Hang on. Right. Do you know what? I'm going on a blocking spree. Hang on a minute. Right. J200 is saying, get your. I mean, look at. Is that your face, J200? Get your hands, legs. I like your hair. You're my gay boyfriend. I can't block him. That's too funny. Right, where's Jeremiah? I can't see. Right, right. Sorry, guys. Right. Well, as soon as Jeremiah comes back on, I'll block him. I can't block that last guy who said he liked my hair. Right, we say we need mods. I don't think we do, guys. I don't think we need mods. Listen, guys, I don't think we need mods. I think everybody should be allowed to say what they want. I will jump up, and if anyone's being offensive, I will block them. I've warned Jeremiah lots of times, so as soon as Jeremiah jumps back on, I'll block him because I have warned him loads of times. Right. Anyway. Listen, guys, I can't block anyone who says I've got fantastic hair. Like, how can that happen? Ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, I am going to start to close this down now because I'm 11 minutes late as it is. All you have to do is look around the United Kingdom right now and ask yourselves, are we at war? Is there war on the streets? Literally 50% of pro-Palestinian march attendants got arrested, 49.2%, what should I say? Kurdish machete gangs roaming the streets. These guys were arrested. I would speculate that this is happening in other places. They've just not been arrested. So I do think things are going to get worse in the United Kingdom. Remember, we've got to take this and we've got to take the backdrop of this, guys, okay? We've got to... Freddie's saying, what's United States and Venezuela? The United States and Venezuela, they want to the oil. That's what you've got to think about Venezuela. There's a shit ton of oil in Venezuela. The United States are saying they want to stop drugs coming into the United States. I think it's just I think it's just a ruse. The Venezuelans are not going to be able to put up any resistance against the United States, not even remotely. It would be like Tyson Fury stamping on an ant. There would be literally no resistance there from the Venezuelans. They don't have it in them. That would come as part of the new Anglo-sphere as well. If you look down that whole southern region, remember, guys, listen, let's not forget that the United Kingdom is going to become part of the United States, and we're going to have like this Anglo-sphere where you've got the United States, Canada, Greenland, maybe even Venezuela, the United Kingdom and Ireland. You will have Israel, you will have Australia, New Zealand, and I'm going to throw in there as little wild cards Japan and Taiwan. They're going to be like one trading block. Listen, guys, I do have to go now. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. And Antarctica as well, guys. Sorry, Antarctica will be there as well. Thank you for putting me onto that. So that's what I think's happening there, guys. Listen, I'm going to go. Right, okay. Right. I mean, hang on a minute, guys. What a fantastic tag here. Hang on, I'm just going to leave that one there. I love gay boys. You know what, guys? I love gay boys as well. I love everyone. There's a lot of love here, guys. I've got a lot of love. Right, guys, I will see you guys later.